students, how are you beta? Hope you all are fit and fine students. Yes students, today we are going to revise literary devices as you have done in previous lectures also. So students, today just we are going to revise what are literary devices. Yes beta, as you know that literary devices are the devices that are used to make a language more beautiful. And students, it is used by the poet or we can say a writer so that the listener or reader pay more attention towards it. Okay students, let's start. Literary devices are used in literature to make writing more vivid, interesting and powerful. And students, they can be used in everyday speech to convey the meaning more quickly and effectively. So let's start with the first one, that is simile. Now students, what's a simile? Do you know? Yes beta. Simile is a figure of speech that compares two different things, usually by using the words like or as. And students, it is used to make a direct comparison. Okay, remember students that simile is used for making comparison between two different things. Okay, two different things में comparison होगा. And which words we can use here students? Like or as. Like or as words इसमें होंगे बेटा. Then it's we can say it's a simile and it is used to make a direct comparison. We can take examples students. Let's understand with the help of some examples. We shall set up schools all as separate as temples. Yes beta. In this line students, schools are being compared to temples directly. स्कूल को हमने किसके साथ कंपेयर किया बेटा? टेम्पल के साथ. और सीधा सीधा बोलते हैं डायरेक्टली कि लाइक अ टेम्पल की टेम्पल की तरह है. ओके, इन दिस लाइन स्टूडेंट्स, स्कूल्स आर बीइंग कंपेयर्ड टू टेम्पल्स डायरेक्टली. एंड स्टूडेंट्स, दिस डायरेक्ट कंपैरिजन between two things is called a simile. Okay, direct comparison between two things is called a simile. ये स्टूडेंट्स, हम बोलते हैं ना कि स्कूल हमारे मंदिर हैं, है ना, और स्कूल कैसे हैं? उतने ही सैक्रेड हैं, उतने ही पवित्र हैं जितने कि टेम्पल्स हैं. हमने यहाँ बेटा स्कूल्स को कंपेयर किया किसके साथ? टेम्पल्स के साथ. और ये कैसा कंपैरिजन है बेटा? डायरेक्ट कंपैरिजन. और इस डायरेक्ट कंपैरिजन को हम क्या बोलते हैं स्टूडेंट्स? It's a simile. Let's take another example student. The eagle was flying like a plane. Yes students, here in this sentence there is comparison between eagle and a plane. Eagle और plane में comparison कर रहे हैं बेटा. And like word is also here. So it's a simile. The snow was as thick as blanket. Then she was as light as feather. So students, these are some examples of simile. Now let's move on to the metaphor. A metaphor is a figure of speech that makes an implied or hidden comparison between two things without the use of as and like. It is an imaginative use of a word or a phrase to describe somebody or something as another object in order to show that they have the same qualities. Yes students, metaphor में क्या है? In a metaphor, there is a hidden or implied comparison. Simile में क्या था बेटा? Direct comparison था. इसमें कैसा है? Implied or we can say hidden comparison between two things. उसमें स्टूडेंट्स हमने सिमिले में लाइक और एज वर्ड्स को यूज़ किया था, बट मेटाफर में स्टूडेंट्स एज और लाइक वर्ड्स को हम यूज़ नहीं करेंगे विदाउट द यूज़ ऑफ एज एंड लाइक. ओके स्टूडेंट्स, एंड इट्स अ इमेजिनेटिव यूज़ ऑफ अ वर्ड और अ फ्रेज टू डिस्क्राइब समबडी और समथिंग एज अनदर ऑब्जेक्ट. और वी कैन से स्टूडेंट्स कि एक मेटाफर में क्या होता? वन थिंग इज़ अनदर, कि एक चीज़ को हम दूसरे के जैसा बोलते हैं. ओके, वन थिंग इज़ another thing we can say. So let's start with the examples. We shall set up schools, all sacred temples for us. Yes students, यहाँ भी हमने comparisons करा है. Schools को हमने क्या बोला है? Temples. Okay, schools क्या है हमारे? Temples. But students यहाँ पर देखिए हमने like और as word use नहीं करा है. तो ये कौन सा comparison है बेटा? Implied or we can say hidden. We shall set up schools, all sacred temples for us. In this line students, the comparison between schools and temples is not direct but implied, or we can say not directly expressed. Okay, and this implied comparison students is called a metaphor. Okay, let's read more examples. You are an angel. Okay, Mike is a teddy bear. Mike is not actually a teddy bear, but here we are comparing Mike with a teddy bear. Okay students, let's start with the personification. Now what's a personification students? Personification is a literary device by which objects, qualities or animals or birds are represented as human beings. वो human beings नहीं है, but they are represented as human beings. It gives human traits or characteristics. Okay, it gives human traits or characteristics to something that is not human, such as animal or objects or non-living things. Let's start with the examples. Let's understand with the help of some examples students. Nature is dancing. Yes beta, can nature really dance? Yes or no? Can nature really dance beta? No. No students, nature cannot dance. It means students, human qualities or traits are given to the word nature. Okay, that's why students, it's an example of personification we can say. Next example students we can take. The moon played hide and seek with the clouds. Do you like hide and seek game? Do you play better hide and seek? But students, can the moon really play hide and seek? Can it better? Can the moon really play hide and seek with the clouds? No students, but what means here? It means students that there are clouds in the sky and moon disappears behind the sky again and again. So students, it's an example of personification. Okay, then my computer hates me. It's also an example of personification. Now students, do you know about alliteration? What's alliteration? Do you know? Okay, you might have heard about tongue twisters. Yes, na? So students, let's see an example of alteration that is in the form of a tongue twister. Listen it carefully. Betty bought some butter, but the butter was bitter. So Betty bought some better butter to make the bitter butter better. I'm repeating. Betty bought some butter, but the butter was bitter. So Betty bought some better butter to make the bitter butter better. So students, tongue twisters are also, we can say, examples of alteration. B की sound आ रही है ना students, B sound is there. So it has been repeated in the same line, and this B sound we can say it's called alliteration. Okay students. Now students, the occurrence of the same sound at the beginning of adjacent or closely connected words. Closely connected words means students words that are near each other is called alteration. And the use of alteration gives a musical effect to the poem students. Let's take one more example. Baby bought a blue bag. B sound is there. Baby bought blue bag. B sound is repeated. So it's an example of alliteration. Seven sisters slept soundly. So sound is repeated. S sound repeat हो रही है students. So it means it's an example of alliteration. Curious cats can catch a cold. Sound is repeated. Okay, consonant sound is repeated. So it's an example of alliteration. Okay, students. Hope it's clear to you, students, now. Now, beta, read the poem again and find out literary devices. Okay, find out literary devices from the poem Leisure. Okay. Okay, students. Thanks and have a nice day. Bye bye, beta.